The oracles of the UCI. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another, as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you're sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as dear children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather given of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth. Therefore, let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Once again, family, praise Yah for allowing us to take part in this Feast of Tabernacles. It's been a busy week, praise Yah, but it's been enjoyable. Being amongst family, just being able to take part in the Feast of Tabernacles, man, it's a blessing within itself, because there's so many other things that we actually could be doing. But Yahweh has allowed us to know him, allow us to know his ways, and trust me, to be here, you're showing obedience. Like I said, there's other things we can be out there doing, but Yahweh know our hearts and our minds, and praise Yah, we're choosing more to rather be here than out there in the world. We can go ahead and turn to Exodus chapter 33. Exodus chapter 33, and we're going to read 1 through 23, actually the whole chapter. Exodus chapter 33. And praise Yah, like I say, we here doing these things, and like I say, we could be doing other things, man, and it's good to see, the brothers and sisters here, that are able to make it, those that are not able to make it, and wanting to be here You know, praise Yah. Yahweh, like I say, Yahweh knows our heart and our minds, what we're able to do and what we're not able to do. You know, we're not in our land. But then again, understand something, please. Yahweh knows what we can do, what we are capable of, and what we are not capable of. All right, my brother, you can go ahead and start.
Exodus chapter 33 and verse 1. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, Depart and go up hence, you and the people which you have brought up out of the land of Egypt, unto the land which I swear unto Abraham, to Esaac, and to Jacob, saying, Unto your seed will I give it.
He said, unto your seed will I give it. No other nation out there but the children of Israel can claim hold onto that, who've actually have an inheritance like how we do. And that's the things, you know, even though we know those things, we know that there's so many people out there that still are clueless of who they are as a people. So knowing these things, as Yahweh allow us to study, to show ourselves approved, understand something. These things here, even though we know, it means a lot. Because there are people out there who doesn't know who came out of Egypt, that their ancestors came out of Egypt, and who their forefathers are. It says, unto your seed will I give it. We don't know, and a lot of people don't understand that there is a greater inheritance that is promised unto us. We hear about the whole thing with the 40 acres and a mule. Yeah, promises that was given by man. But understand something, we have something much greater that's been promised by Yahweh. And these are the things, like I said, we need to make sure we understand that we can give it to people, can give it to our brothers and sisters, so they can know who they are as a people. There's much more they need to do, but as we can read, we have an inheritance that is coming. And it doesn't just include us, the nations also. Go ahead, my brother.
You know, brother, that statement that you just made, I think, is what will get a lot of people discouraged when you look at the generation after generation in this country, waiting on the 40 acres and the mule and can't see it, not understanding that Yahweh does not deal the way that man does.
Exactly.
So we can look forward to whatever he has set, whatever has come out of his mouth is law. He's not going to let his words fail.
No.
So if we do what we're supposed to do,
Exactly.
you will inherit, you will get your inheritance, which we can think about even man. You can look at fathers, mothers will set up an inheritance for their children, but a smart parent will put some kind of clause within that inheritance. Sometimes it's you got to graduate from college and get this, and then you're entitled to it. But 9 times out of 10, there's one up front. You can't get to it till you're 18 years old. So if man has stipulations in their inheritance, what makes me think that the creator of all things, the creator of man, wouldn't have stipulations in the inheritance that he's given? Verse 2. And I'll send an angel before you, and will drive out the Canaanite, the Amorite, and the Hittite, and the Perizzite, the Hivite, and the Jebusite, onto a land flowing with milk and honey. For I will not go up in the midst of you, for you are a stiff-necked people, lest I consume you in the way. And when the people heard these evil tidings, they mourned, and no man did put on him his ornaments. For Yahweh had said unto Moshe, Say unto the children of Israel, You are a stiff-necked people. I will come up into the midst of you in a moment and consume you. Therefore now put off your ornaments from you, that I may know what to do unto you.
You know, we really don't consider or understand how merciful Yahweh has been in not consuming our whole heritage, but actually allowing us to have the few. And praise Yah, Because there's always been the few that would actually do what thus saith Yahweh. And that's how it's going to be to the end. You always going to have the few. Or you're going to be that few. Because at the end of the day, we do have family, and we do have friends, and we do have and we have people who put friends and family before Yahweh. We can't do that. We can't do that. If we are looking to get further through what is coming, we can't do that. Yahweh comes first. And yeah, anybody can say that. It's words. But at the end of the day, actions speak louder than words. And Yah's will, you're going to have to put those actions before him. You can't just say, you love Yahweh and not do the things like Kish said earlier. For you to gain that inheritance, there's things that we have to do. So just make sure, as we continue, because we're going to have new people that come within the word. Understand the things that you have to do to get through and to reach Yah's will. That inheritance, a righteous kingdom. Go ahead, my brother.
Verse 6, Exodus chapter 33 and verse 6. And the children of Israel stripped themselves of their ornaments by the Mount Horeb. And Moshe took the tabernacle and pitched it without the camp, afar off from the camp, and called it the tabernacle of the congregation. And it came to pass that everyone which sought Yahweh went out onto the tabernacle of the congregation, which was without the camp.
And it came to pass that everyone which sought Yahweh went out unto the tabernacle of the congregation, which was without the camp. And that's what we got to make sure that we're doing also. Hearing the word being called and not doing what we need to do, then where's your hope? Understand something. Don't let man take you away from the hope that's there in Yahweh. Don't let no man take you away from what Yahweh is putting before each individual who he's calling, allowing to be called, especially allowing to be chosen. He said, everyone that sought Yahweh. Kish has been going over, Brother Kish been going over, the ordinances and stuff like that, from last Bible study. We have people out there don't really understand that there is a way how we supposed to come before Yahweh, how we supposed to approach before Yahweh. And one of the things that, praise Yah for allowing our elder Yaakov, because when he had the sanctuary set up, he had that separated. You had the lobby, of course, you had the dining, but you had the sanctuary that was separated, dealing with holy things. And when you deal with holy things, there's a way, praise Yah, an understanding that Yahweh would give you to deal with holy things. And praise Yah for allowing us to be amongst our elder priests before he passed, because I tell you, the way how he did things, man, he was trying to make sure he did things decently and in order. And that's what we got to make sure we are doing, these things decently and in order according to Yahweh. You remember even when the bush burning, Moshe had to take off his shoes. And for those who don't know, allow them to understand that. Before we come in this sanctuary, our shoes is taken off for a reason. We don't just say we're inviting the angel to come in and sup with us and us with him for no reason. This is real. If we are looking to be ministered unto, this is real. So we have to understand that, when we do certain things, we're not just doing it out of thin air. We're doing it because there's ordinances, there's things that's written within the Bible on how we're supposed to deal with holy things. Go ahead, my brother.
Just to add to it, that's why
Yes.
we can't take for granted when somebody comes to the word and say, or comes to the door
Yes.
and say, oh, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. Okay, we still need to run down how we run Yahweh's house here. Because we've had people want to come in with their shoes. No. But then it makes you stop and look and say, well, how do y'all handle holy things where you're at if you're not familiar with taking your shoes off?
Exactly.
Like you mentioned, we entreat the angel. Once the angel comes in, this is holy ground. What was told to Moshe? Take your shoes off. And the reason was given to him. Because the place whereon you stand is holy ground. So how is it that somebody comes in and say, I'm a Hebrew Israelite, but you don't understand that ordinance? It goes right back to what I've been saying. The goat pee water. And now somebody introduced you to spring water and you're fighting against it. Because you think that where you have been, you actually know everything.
And my brother, and that's been the case. You come with the truth to somebody. It looks so off. Because they've been 20, 30 years not being in the truth, but yet still it felt so close to them. They believe what they're doing is true, not understanding that, no, if you understood the whole truth, but when you come to someone with the whole truth, it seems weird. Of course, it seemed weird for me at first. But then, praise Yah for allowing me to stick with it, that I was able to grow in understanding of these things that were weird to me, but yet still coming out of the Bible. See, that was the difference. It wasn't just, a man before me speaking. It was a man before me, praise Yah, Ele Yaakov, even our head priest, Esaac, speaking of things, that's written. Not what I think and how I feel and, dealing with what thus saith Yahweh. That's the difference. It wasn't just about upliftment speech, but what's written. And that's how we're going to get through this, Yazrael. What's written. Go ahead, my brother.
My brother, and that's another thing. We can never get to a point where we think we know everything.
Exactly.
Like these other people coming in and they want to, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. No, we still going to explain to you how things work here. Because I know our head priest has talked to somebody else who runs a congregation, mentioned to him about, hey, I came across this. The sanctifying yourself against the third day when the brothers make their appearance. And he was told, no, don't mention that. So if you don't want him to mention that, what has been happening to the prayers of these brothers? And if that has not been corrected all these years, what has been happening to the prayers and the offerings that these brothers have been offering up when they go to make their appearances? That's what happens when you get to a point where you feel like no one can tell you anything.
Right.
Verse 8, verse 7 here with the Moshe put the tabernacle afar off from the camp. That also made us look out and see who's going in.
Right.
So you look a couple of times and say, it's been a whole month. I ain't see Kish. Somebody gonna know this. I haven't seen Kish go in the tabernacle in over a month. Because it said, those who seek the Yahweh. So it then brings to mind, how many people didn't go in the tabernacle?
Exactly.
If it had to say, those who seek the Yahweh.
Right.
And it's kind of like you were touching on, we let isms and schisms bother us and don't show up at the tabernacle, those who are able to.
Right.
Not understanding how many people are listening to us on air who wish they had that opportunity.
Yes, sir.
To come to the tabernacle. And it's the same way. Here, people are looking and say, we ain't seen this since then ages. Well, we ain't seen this brother in ages. Back then, they could tell who was going to the tabernacle, and we can still tell today who's showing up at the tabernacle.
Exactly.
Verse 8. And it came to pass when Moshe went out onto the tabernacle that all the people rose up and stood every man at his tent door and looked after Moshe until he was gone into the tabernacle. So we think Moshe is the only one they're looking at?
Right.
You don't think the rest of them rise up to see who else going in there?
Yeah.
And it came to pass, as Moshe entered into the tabernacle, the cloudy pillar descended and stood at the door of the tabernacle. And Yahweh talked with Moshe. And all the people saw the cloudy pillar stand at the tabernacle door, and all the people rose up and worshipped every man in his tent door.
And all the people saw the cloudy pillar stand at the tabernacle door. And all the people rose up, worshipped every man in his tent. You see back then how together we were? How much more together we were dealing with the Spirit of Yahweh. It says, every man in his tent door, all the people rose up and worshipped. We know that things have changed throughout the generations. But at the end of the day, we know that this is something that Yahweh wanted, and it's going to happen. The thing is, praise Yah for allowing us to have an ear to hear what the Spirit says unto the churches. If we're allowing ourselves to be that part of that body of Yahshua. But look how together we were back then. This is how together we need to be, Yah's will, when that time come. If you're moved to become to that point. Are you moved to become that point? To reach that point where we can be together like that again, where every man is rising up to worship Yahweh. And understand something too. The tabernacle, being afar off, you know that tabernacle has to be sanctified. That's holy grounds. Allowing the Spirit of Yahweh there to be amongst us. Sanctified grounds, holy, a tabernacle, allowing Yah's Spirit to be amongst us. When we invite the angel in to come sup with us, and us with him, that's what we're asking Yahweh also too. Allow this sanctuary to be sanctified, that you may allow your Spirit to come in and dwell with us. So just, praise Yah. The one thing our elder Yaakov used to usually say, stay in that seat. Because if you're here to learn, Yah's will, you're going to learn. But you have to be humble in the process. You got to be humble in the process. Go ahead, my brother.
You touched on how together we were. And that togetherness, it's not been that long that we have fallen apart. Desegregation made it worse.
Yes.
Because you have to think about how together our people were in the civil rights.
Yeah.
That's what allowed for change. Brother Hananiah and I were talking earlier today about everybody having to take this jab, and how many of our people are rolling over. The time for unity is now again.
Yes.
Even if we're not even on the same spiritual walk. But desegregation has got us all over the place, and it's by design, so we can't communicate en masse like we once were able to. Because if our people don't start standing up and uniting on these jobs, the jobs are running roughshod over everybody. That's how this man can come out with a mandate,
yes, sir,
which is not law, and everybody's running saying it's law, we got to go do it. No, if enough of y'all stand up and unite, a change will come.
Of course. Understand something. The job needs workers. What? The CEO is going to come down and do it himself? Or the CFO is going to come down and do it himself? Look, man, Bridget, I praise y'all for that, man, because at the end of the day, man, we do need to understand how much togetherness right now we need to put together. Seriously. Because we're allowing these jobs to separate us, to put us in hurt, and to the point where people are dying off. Taking something that, boy, I tell you, man, you know, even at my job, man, there's, you know, praise y'all, they're not allowing that. But I know a lot of people there that's have taken it already because of the fear that they're putting out there in people's eyes, in their ears, what people are seeing. Go ahead, my brother, when you're ready.
Verse 11. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe face to face, as a man speaks unto his friend. And he turned again into the camp. But his servant Yahshua, the son of Nun, a young man, departed not out of the tabernacle. And Moshe said unto Yahweh, See, you saith unto me, Bring up this people. And you have not let me know whom you will send with me. Yet you have said, I know you by name, and you have also found grace in my sight. Now therefore, I pray you, if I have found grace in your sight, show me now your way, that I may know you, that I may find grace in your sight, and consider that this nation is your people.
Now, this right here that Moshe is talking to Yahweh about, is praying about, is something that we need to consider. Really and truly. It's something that we need to consider. What Moshe is saying right here, verse 13. Now therefore, I pray thee, if I have found grace in your sight, show me now your way, that I might know thee, that I may find grace in your sight, and consider that this nation is your people. It's your people too. That's your people, that's our people. So consider the things that Yahweh is allowing us to learn. How selfish would it be for you to know something that can save people's life and not give them the things that's necessary for them to be saved? But understand verse 13, that's something that we should be asking also. Because we do need to know Yahweh. We need to understand his ways. We need to do the things that he's put forth before us to show him our obedience. So verse 13 is something that we need to be asking about too. Go ahead, my brother.
And he said, My presence shall go with you, and I'll give you rest. And he said unto him, If your presence go not with me, carry us not up hence. For wherein shall it be known here that I and your people have found grace in your sight? Is it not in that you goeth with us? So shall we be separated, I and your people, from all the people that are upon the face of the earth.
And that's how Yahweh intended it from the beginning. For us to be separated from the nations, but yet still we're doing the same things as the nations. And you know what? We're shining more greater than them in unrighteousness by doing these things. Right before Yahweh, we're doing these things. And we're not considering that we're doing these things. Blind leadeth the blind, and both shall fall into the ditch. And that's what's going on. Go ahead, my brother.
You know, it's that not considering what Yahweh has said. You've made me to serve with you in your sins. Because while I'm trying to protect you and you doing stupidness, my name is being blasphemed. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, I will do this thing also that you have spoken, for you have found grace in my sight, and I know you by your name.
Now, we see the reputation that that Moshe has with Yahweh. That's beautiful. That's great. For Yahweh to say, he knows him by name. And what's it? Verse 17. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, I will do this thing also that thou hast spoken. This is what Moshe is speaking of. Praying to Yahweh about these things. And Yahweh is saying, yo, I'm going to go ahead and do these things that you have spoken of. We see the reputation that he has with Yahweh. And praise Yah, because understand something. We supposed to be building a reputation with Yahweh also. Where does yours stand? Yo, it deals with me too. I'm trying to build a reputation between me and Yahweh. We all are. Go ahead, my brother.
Verse 18, and he said, I beseech you, show me your glory. And he said, I'll make all my goodness pass before you, and I'll proclaim the name of Yahweh before you. And I'll be gracious to whom I'll be gracious, and I'll show mercy on whom I will show mercy. And he said, you cannot see my face, for there shall no man see me and live. And Yahweh said, behold, there is a place by me, and you shall stand upon a rock. And it shall come to pass, while my glory pass by, that I'll put you in a cleft of the rock, and I'll cover you with my hand while I pass by. And I'll take away mine hand, and you shall see my back parts, but my face shall not be seen.
Verse 19. And he said, I will make all my goodness pass before thee, and I will proclaim the name of Yahweh before thee, and will be gracious to whom I will be gracious, and will show mercy on whom I will show mercy. You know, praise Yah, coming into the word, man, is I started realizing as Yahweh allowed me to grow in understanding, and there's so much more that I need to, you know, praise Yah, understand. And like Kish said earlier about, you know, don't get comfortable thinking that you know what you know, and yo, you there. You right before Yahweh. He who endures to the end. The race is not for the swift. But you have people out there that I see and I understand now that they're painting their own God. They're thinking the Most High Yah is one way because it pleases them, and it's not so according to Scripture. He's going to have mercy on whom he will show mercy and have mercy unto. But yet still, like I say, yo, we got to stop painting our own God, man. Read what's written. Understand that this Bible has been going through generations. It's been going through generations. If you want to think about it like a movie, think about it like a movie. It's a book that's been going through generations, allowing people to understand, if they take the time, Yah's will, and pray for that understanding through Yahshua, they would understand that Yahweh has been trying to save us for the longest, to give us an understanding that we can understand we have an inheritance that's coming, and the things that we can do to escape that lake of fire. So as we take part in these holy days, understand something. Praise Yah for allowing us to be able to take part in these Feast of Tabernacles, dealing with His Spirit. It is a blessing. And like I said before, I know we have family and friends and things like that may, and make sure you pray for that spirit of discernment also. Because family and friend can take you away from this if you allow them to. Make sure you understand who's more important unto you. Make sure you understand who's more important unto you. Because friend and family, mommy and daddy, can't save you unless they teaching you and showing you the way of Yahweh. All right, let's go to Zechariah chapter 14, and we're going to read from verse 1 through 21. Zechariah chapter 14. And we're going to read, yeah, that's the whole chapter. And this is going to be the last thing that we're going to do for tonight, y'all. Zechariah chapter 14, verse 1 through 21.
Verse 1. Behold, the day of Yahweh comes, and your spoil shall be divided in the midst of you. For I'll gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, and the women ravished, and half of the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Then shall Yahweh go forth and fight against those nations as when he fought in the day of battle. And his feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east, and the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof toward the east and toward the west. And there shall be a very great valley, and half of the mountain shall remove toward the north, and half of it toward the south.
For those people that are out there, the nations that are out there thinking that their rule is going to continue and is going to be forever, we know, according to prophecy, that that's not going to happen. Yahweh is going to put us in the right place. Yahweh is going to fight for us. If you deserve to be fought for. So we also got to show him that, do we deserve to be in that land? Do we deserve the inheritance? But understand something, as we see right here, that Yahweh is going to put forth his wrath on this earth. It's going to happen. So please, be mindful of these things as we go through our day-to-day lives, and not be mistaken or be forgetful hearers. Please, make sure you be not a forgetful hearer of the things that you're learning, especially the things that Yahweh is allowing you to understand, because these things are coming. We need to prepare. Go ahead, my brother.
And you shall flee to the valley of the mountains, for the valley of the mountains shall reach unto Azal. Yes, you shall flee, like as you fled from before the earthquake in the days of Uzziah, king of Yehudah. And Yahweh my El shall come, and all the saints with you. And it shall come to pass in that day, that the light shall not be clear nor dark, but it shall be one day which shall be known to Yahweh, not day nor night. But it shall come to pass that at evening time it shall be light. And it shall be in that day that living waters shall go out from Jerusalem, half of them toward the former sea, and half of them toward the hinder sea. In summer and in winter shall it be. And Yahweh shall be king over all the earth. In that day shall there be one Yahweh, and his name one. Now we know what the scriptures talked about Yahshua being king. And the inheritance, because it's not just us that is going to receive an inheritance. Yahshua also is going to receive an inheritance. We know that verse 9 hasn't even happened yet. It says, and Yahweh shall be king over all the earth. We know that we're not living in a righteous kingdom. So we know that he's not king over the whole earth. This is prophecy. Go ahead, my brother. All the land shall be turned as a plain from Geba to Ramon, south of Jerusalem. And it shall be lifted up and inhabited in her place, from Benjamin's gate onto the place of the first gate, onto the corner gate, and from the tower of Hananiel onto the king's wine presses. And men shall dwell in it, and there shall be no more utter destruction. But Jerusalem shall be safely inhabited. But Jerusalem shall be safely inhabited. Things that we should be looking forward to. Things that we should be looking forward to. We know that Jerusalem is not safely inhabited right now. So again, we know that this is prophecy. Go ahead, my brother. And this shall be the plague wherewith Yahweh will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongues shall consume away in their mouth. Man, imagine that. Like I say, sometimes we read, take your time and read and realize
how serious Yahweh is about making a change on this earth. The way how things is being done is corrupt, it's unrighteous, it's evil, and it's allowing people to be in so much discord, unrighteousness. Is not right. So it says, their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. This is a plague that Yahweh said he will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Yahweh not joking, man. And for those out there that take the Most High Yah for a joke, or think that he's joking, and think that, this is just, we just coasting by faith and believing and not doing what you're supposed to do. We need to think again. Seriously. Because Yahweh is going to come and claim what's his. And we're his too, if we do what's necessary. It's not just the land. He's coming to claim his people too. If that's what you consider yourself to be, do what you need to do. Go ahead, my brother.
You were touching on verse 11 where you're saying we know that Jerusalem is not safely inhabited. Mm-hmm. But supposedly the people are back in the line. They're in the land.
Right.
So if the children of Israel is back in the land, according to what we've read, mm-hmm. there should be peace.
It should be
safe.
It
should be safe.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a clue there that obviously this prophecy
has not been fulfilled yet. Seriously.
Verse 13, and it shall come to pass in that day that a great tumult from Yahweh shall be among them, and they shall lay hold every one on the hand of his neighbor, and his hand shall rise up against the hand of his neighbor. And Yehudah also shall fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of all the heathen round about shall be gathered together, gold and silver and apparel in great abundance.
You have so much people out there that claim to be Yehudah. Verse 14, it says, and Yehudah also shall fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of all the heathen round about shall be gathered together, gold and silver and apparel in great abundance. But most of all, what I wanted to touch on is, and Yehudah also shall fight at Jerusalem. Those that are balling out, Judah, I hope y'all ready. I don't know what tribe I'm from. Judah, I hope y'all ready. Okay.
Verse 15, and so shall be the plague of the horse, of the mule, of the camel, and of the ass, and of all the beasts that shall be in these tents as this plague. And it shall come to pass that everyone that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to worship the King, Yahweh of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles.
If this Feast of Tabernacles was not important unto Yahweh, then there's no reason why he would allow this to happen right here that we just read. And it shall come to pass that everyone that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem can understand something. There's going to be a war. So those that Yahweh will allow to make it or live through this situation that's coming against us, he says he's going to, which came against Jerusalem, even shall even go up from year to year to year to worship the King, Yahweh of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. This is what Yahweh is doing for us right now, allowing us to be able to take part in these things. So much people out there don't know how important that these holy days are to Yahweh, what he commanded. He didn't say, and when the seventh month come and the 15th day, if you want to, you can have an holy convocation if you want to. He said, thou shalt keep a holy convocation before me. He wasn't asking and say, yo, if you have time, can you? I know we're not in our land. Understand something, and I know we go through different things where some people can't make it. But I hope that when you can't make it to one of Yahweh's holy feast days or the Sabbath, I hope that is bothering you. Because if it's not bothering you, if you don't feel some type of way that you can't make it, then something is wrong. Something is wrong. And I know we're not in our land, and sometimes we can't take the time off. But yet still, if you can't take the time off, I'm really hoping that it's bothering you. That you would love to be amongst brothers and sisters that are walking in one accord. Go ahead, my brother.
When you look at the Feast of Tabernacles, it's the only one that we can read of that it says all the nations will come up.
Yes.
We know that's the end of the year, the end of the harvest season. The nations actually get to come up and party with us.
Man, can you imagine? Imagine how much land is going to be given unto us to the point where you have the nations are coming up to take part in this feast. So Yahweh is going to give us a great vast of land for us. I'm going to say, we have an inheritance as a people. And for all those nations, to be able to come and take part, there has to be a good amount of space for us for them to be able to come and have a feast. Imagine that. Go ahead, brother.
Even with this, people think the Hebrew Israelites, they're boring. Hey, once these 7 days is done, nations gonna be like, damn, them Hebrews can party.
Yeah. 8 days.
They're gonna need all that time to recover and come back again.
Exactly right.
Verse 17. And it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, Yahweh of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain.
We're gonna see how serious Yahweh is about his holy days. Like I say, he didn't say, if you can, please put it in your mind to do so. Go ahead, my brother.
And if the family of Egypt go not up and come not, that have no rain, there shall be the plague, wherewith Yahweh will smite the heathen that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles.
Yahweh, we know thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not commit adultery. There's more than that. There's holy days also that Yahweh commanded us to keep. And a lot of people don't know that. So as we continue to do these things, as Yahweh allows us to continue to do these things, edify the people. If they don't, they don't. Understand something. As a brother, as a sister, as you cast your bread out there, and if it's Yahweh allow the increase, Yahweh allow the increase. But these are things that Yahweh has put forth before us as a commandment also. Go ahead, brother.
So one should be, thou shalt not avoid the Feast of Tabernacles.
Hey, it's a commandment, man. And Yahweh, like I say, it shows obedience. And, for those who can't make it, it's not possible to make it because, we all have, certain things going on. I hope it is bothering you, because then if it is bothering you, Yahweh knows it's bothering you. Yahweh know where you would like to be, where you would love to be. So don't think Yahweh don't know what's in your heart, what's in your mind. Go ahead, my brother.
This shall be the punishment of Egypt and the punishment of all nations that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. In that day shall there be upon the bells of the horses holiness unto Yah, and the pots in Yahweh's house shall be like the bowls before the altar. Yes, every pot in Jerusalem and in Yehuda shall be holiness unto Yahweh of hosts. And all they that sacrifice shall come and take of them, and seethe therein. And in that day there shall be no more the Canaanite in the house of Yahweh of hosts.
Once again, y'all, praise Yah for allowing us to even start to do these things in these times that we have, given us the knowledge, given us the understanding, of these things. And we know Feast of Tabernacles is coming to an end. I want to say this to everybody out there, and remember, start looking for the Farmer's Almanac, because Yah's will, we're going to start putting together again for the holy days. We got to start calculating again for these holy days, man, and get ourselves ready again. It's not going to end. We see that it's not going to end in a righteous kingdom that's coming. So, it's not ending now for us. So as for those that are listening, remember this time is coming up where, brothers and sisters, please try to get whatever information as you can get for the new moons and things like that, as far as the Farmer's Almanac. Because Yah's will, we're going to start going over these things again so we can get ready for Yah's will the next year for these things to come. Because you living, praise Yah, you're going to be able to take part in these holy days, holy feast days as they come. All right, so remember the Sabbath. It is a Sabbath. Remember, please, to keep it holy. And let us, Yah's will, enjoy this Sabbath, this Feast of Tabernacles, the last day. Like I said, it's been a lot, and praise Yah for allowing us a day of rest, but it's also a feast. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy, all right? Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.